If you could have a drink with anyone in the theater world, who would it be? I'm Anthony Caporale, and I'm running through my list. Each week, I'll sit down with cast members, bartenders, and personalities from New York's theater district and get a behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to live, work, and play on Broadway. Come have a drink with us on Broadway Bartender. Welcome to Broadway Bartender. My name is Anthony Caporale, and we are at New World Stages in the heart of Manhattan's theater district, home to my show, The Imbible, a spirited history of drinking. This week, we're going to start off with a classic cocktail called the Widow's Kiss. And I'm going to start by filling my mixing tin about halfway with ice, and I'm going to be making 3 of these because I have 2 special guests this week. And this drink starts with 1 ounce of bourbon per drink, so I'm going to do 3 ounces into my tin. And then yellow chartreuse, I want about 1/2 ounce per drink. And then also Benedictine, also 1/2 ounce per drink. And then I'm going to shake this up really, really well. And if you notice, there's no mixer in this drink, it's all spirits. So shaking's really important. That's going to introduce some ice melt. That's going to help chill the drink, but also dilute it a little bit so that it's not as hot on the palate. So once that's nicely chilled and diluted, and you can tell that we're there because I have frost on my tin, that's what we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and strain this into 3 cocktail glasses. And then to finish this drink, I want a little bit of orange bitters. And I'm going to put that in at the end so that it hits you right on the nose because bitters are aromatic. And I want you to experience those on the nose before they hit your mouth. And I am going to serve them to our 2 lovely, lovely guests this weekend. We have Bobby Goldman and Nancy Opel, currently working on the CURVY Widow, which is why I chose this drink. Ladies, thank you so much for coming. Cheers.
And happy to be here. Kiss, kiss.
Kiss, kiss. Let me know what you think about this.
Oh, that's delicious.
You like that?
That is good.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay,
I thought it was just going to knock me over, but this is nice.
I think it will knock you over.
It will eventually knock you over, yes. And again, you can see we have those nice ice chips on the top, keep the drink nice and cold. Got a little bit of ice melt in there so it's not too hot on the palate. So CURVY Widow, tell me all about it. So first, let's talk about who we, even before we get into the show.
Who we are, perhaps?
Who you are, because storied careers, both of you. So, Bobby, tell me a little bit about, well, I guess in order to talk about who you are, we're going to need to also get into the CURVY Widow, right? And your husband and your involvement with the theater industry and things like that. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, I was married to James Goldman, who wrote The Lion in Winter and Follies, a bunch of other things.
Right.
And I was with Jim since I was 21. Then Jim died, and I had to figure out how to go from being Mrs. James Goldman to being Bobby, which is a very big transition.
Wow.
And it is that journey, which is a word I hate to use, is basically the story of CURVY Widow, because I threw out everything. Got rid of the penthouse, bought a loft, did that, and started dating from a sex site.
What?
She's not kidding.
Okay. So
yes, close your mouth. Do you want some more drink, darling?
I do.
You better have another sip.
I absolutely do.
Yes.
Okay, so
this will help a great deal.
Okay, I'm going to put a pin in that because we're going to come back.
How much anybody says I killed him, I did not. She didn't. I was out of state.
Okay, so.
Oh my gosh,
Nancy.
we're going to have to lawyer up too, aren't
Nancy.
we?
Okay, so we're going to come all back to this, but we have to introduce Nancy. I don't know if that's a good stopping point or not, but I'm going to make it a stopping point. Nancy Opel, who, by the way, huge fan. You're in town, one of my favorite Tony nomination for Penelope Pennywise. I mean, one of the greatest roles in musical theater. I'm just so honored to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And so your involvement with Bobby starts with CURVY Widow, or did you guys know each other before that, or?
Oh, well, she sort of wrote a play version of this.
Okay.
Many moons ago, and I've sort of read maybe 2 versions of it in her house, but she kind of forgot about that. She kind of forgot that, but I must have put something into her subconscious because when she and Drew Brody wrote this musical version of Curvy Widow, she said, I want Nancy Opel. And so I was like, what does she even know me? Does she remember me? Whatever happened, that was just sort of like, she said, make the call, get her to do it. And I did, and the rest is history, as they say.
Now we spend every Friday night yelling at MSNBC together.
Yeah.
Really?
It's very sick.
Yeah.
And you play Bobby?
I do play Bobby.
Can't you tell?
I don't. I don't have the same sort of personal life as she has had.
Okay.
But it's her way of saying she's not a slut.
But I play
Okay.
one on stage.
Okay,
So.
fabulous. So, started dating from a sex site. Let's pick it up right there. What? This is truth? You actually did this? This was like
Doing this.
doing this currently.
Darling, yes.
Okay.
Why are you confused?
No, I'm not. I'm confused. I'm just wondering if we should go ahead and
Words,
put your profile out there in the world for people to. Okay, so does the Curvy Widow specifically deal with then the period of your life after James's death?
We kill him on stage in the first 5 minutes.
You do. Okay, so he's in it for a little bit.
Just a minute. Well, he's in it longer.
He comes
than
back
that.
around.
Okay, without giving too much away.
I don't want to give it away, but
No.
yes, of
Okay.
course,
Yeah.
because he's in her head.
We revisit with Jim.
Okay. And
Put it
this
that
is
way.
a comedy?
Listen to him.
Of course
Of course it's a comedy. Why would I think you weren't writing a comedy?
You spent 5 minutes with me. What do you mean it's not a
How
comedy?
could this not be funny? But I will say.
Yeah.
But I will say. Being the artiste who plays Bobby Goldman on the stage,
Yeah.
there is some what we found to be rather surprising sort of depth of feeling in the show as well, which we discovered when we first did the show in North Carolina. That was our first
Where
go
in
around.
North Carolina?
We were in
Asheville.
Asheville.
Oh, wow. I lived in Raleigh-Durham forever.
North Carolina
Yeah.
Stages.
Yeah. I know very well. They have a tremendous theater
It's
program.
lovely.
It's wonderful.
And we were there, and you know, we had never done this for people, and so we didn't know. We thought,
no.
oh, it's going to
We
be
really
funny and
didn't know.
sexy and whatever. And people were coming out crying and saying, you have no idea what this means to me.
Oh,
This
wow.
show
And
gives
we were
us hope.
And we were going, huh? But here's what I think.
Okay.
And Bobby will make fun of it because she always makes fun of when I'm trying to be serious. But what happens in the show, just as it does for almost anyone who finds themselves, they've been with someone for a very long time. They find themselves partnerless, whether by death or even by divorce. You know, you find yourself alone and you go, oh, now I have no partner. My quotidian existence has changed. Now I don't have things I have to do. It's the habit of loss too, that you go, wait a minute, my habit has to change completely. I must be lonely. I must go find another guy to take the place of the one I had before. And this story is a little bit about how your ideas change in terms of what you're looking for.
It deals a lot with courage. Because you're there, it doesn't matter whether you're widowed, divorced, you broke up with somebody, you lost a family member, it has to do with change in your life. And when you approach change in your life, how do you do it? Because a lot of people are just, it's almost like regurgitating the same thing again and again and again.
Right, sure.
What I did, which is, it's not saying you have to do what I'm doing, but the sense of change really is helpful to most anybody. And that's where we find the show is hitting people, which we did not expect. I mean, writers never know what they wrote. If you asked Dead Husband what Lion in Winter was about, he would have said Henry and Eleanor. And it isn't. It's about mommy and daddy love my brother more.
It's always to the universal theme, right?
It's always that, and that's what this is. So I think I'm writing this like, you know, like, oh, isn't this funny? It's a little dirty, it's a little this. No. It turns out that people were taking it both while laughing, quite seriously in terms of what it means to their life, which is why our audience goes from people in their 20s all the way up.
And so what do you do with loneliness is
Right.
kind of it.
Right.
You know, and then you go, do I go this, like what route do I take in terms of that? You know, do I just try to replace the life that I had before, or do I shake it up? And I think that's the key issue.
I don't want to get remarried, and I found the idea of going out with a lot of men fun.
I fully support that.
Thank you so much.
I think that's a lovely, lovely thing. Cheers to you. So, do you find, and I'm, if this is what...
He's trying to be real.
I'm rarely at a loss for words.
Yeah, I know.
No, but so what's intriguing to me is that do you find that in trying to reinvent yourself, is that fair?
Yes,
or
it is fair.
Okay.
Fair.
That there's a tension there in trying to be respectful to who you were before with this other person?
That's why you will see dead Jim occasionally through the show.
Because you never can, you never, I would imagine, even want to leave that behind.
You have to learn balance. I mean, Lion and Winter and Follies are not going to leave me.
Right, yeah, sure.
They're around. I mean, they're always around. You know, I produce them and this, I work on them. They're that way. But there is an enormous difference between even how you introduce yourself. From, again, being, you're in the shadow of somebody, because my life was taking care of Jim.
Right.
As it is for a lot of women. Now, mine was a little extreme, because you're with a writer, and we all know about writers. But
well, you're one too. I hate to break it to you.
I refuse to admit that.
Okay.
I will not admit that. No, 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 no.
All right,
no,
then.
no, no, no. I do not have the personality of a writer. I am a happy person.
And most writers are deeply
depressive.
Yes, they are.
Yes. No.
So
why do you think the bar in my house is so good? Yes.
So how did you make this transition? I mean, because clearly you are now a writer. You know.
Bite your tongue. No. It takes a while. You try on different things, like you're trying on a different dress. Not for you, but for me. You try this on. And first I went on Match.com because my shrink had told me to, well, that's a line from the show which I am not revealing because it is the show is 98% true.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that because I'm fascinated by that.
It really is true. It's just, I'm not making up anything. And I tried dating an appropriately regular way. And what you find out that when you're a woman past a certain age, and you're not 20 years old, sites like Match.com totally rip apart your insides and make you feel like you're disgusting.
Ooh, well,
I think that's true.
Okay, not positive.
Well, it's more than not positive, because when you think about who would be on the site. So there are these women who are really, really lovely, and since most men, even all of you, can get a date by simply walking down the street, no matter how disgusting you are, you find yourself.
Would twere that it were, but
yes,
okay.
but it's really true, because there are not that many men, and a lot of women feel that their life is not complete unless there's a man to be with them. I don't happen to feel that way, but it took me a while to understand that.
A while.
Sure. Yeah. No. And I know. Yes.
It took a year and a half.
That's what I keep saying. That you keep wanting to sort of replay your life again, just with a different partner.
Right.
And you go, no, maybe there's other choices.
I was left at restaurants. Dates never were completed. I wouldn't even get a handshake at the end of the date.
Really?
Yes, and I'm a good date.
I can tell that right now.
Yes.
If you want to count this as one, I'm good with that.
I know. Thank you. Call me Thursday.
That's so in reinventing yourself, it wasn't trying to recreate the mold that you had been living in. It was literally trying to recreate you as you in a completely different way, on your own terms.
You have no idea. First of all, I was 21.
Right, so how do you even know who you are on your own?
You had no idea. So there I am, and I'm thinking, do I drink coffee? Am I drinking coffee because Jim drank coffee? Mm-hmm. Am I taking a walk because Jim took a walk? Right. Am I living in this stupid penthouse because Jim loved penthouses? Well, it turns out I don't like views. I don't like sunlight. I didn't say I was normal. And so I got rid of it 3 years after Jim died, because I didn't want to have that kind of life.
Right.
But I'd lived there for 36 years. So it was a massive change. And particularly when there was no real family on either side.
Right.
So you're sort of completely on your own. And you're going, whoa, this is really different. This is a movie. No one's sending the movie over. You're not going to a screening. You're going to a Cineplex. Very exciting. because you're living in a very, very isolated type of life.
Right. I can really see how this resonates with a far wider audience than you would have anticipated.
We never anticipated.
We had no idea.
Yeah.
We had no idea.
Chased down the street in Asheville, which already is peculiar, by a young guy in his 20s. And he goes, Bobby, stop! And I'm from New York. I think he's trying to mug me. And I finally did. And he just said, I saw the show. I loved the show. You keep it real like Bernie.
I know.
And I thought,
wow.
Okay, I don't get this.
Well, we were there during the election.
Well, no, okay, yeah, but still.
But it has to do with the authenticity of what the feelings are.
Right.
And that's why we're getting kids from college, we're getting guys in their 20s, we're getting straight guys, we're getting gay guys, we're getting more guys than we ever thought, which I happen to like because it's fun. But
sure.
And we're getting, of course, a core group of women, because women buy tickets to theater.
Right. I can't imagine what this like. I mean, I know I've never been married, but I've kind of learned in my experience that even when you're dating somebody long term,
same thing.
Your personality completely changes. You become not you. You become you with that person.
Sure.
And I always say that it takes roughly the amount of time you've been dating after you've broken up to find out who you are again. But when it's been this amount of time,
you lose yourself completely.
Completely. I can absolutely see how that would happen. But now, I said I wanted to come back to this sense of honesty. You said 98% true.
Yes.
Okay, this fascinates me because I think one of the things that writers, successful writers for the most part, can do better than normal people is put themselves out there in a way that exposes their core. And people who are not as comfortable with that end up writing things that seem less true. But I would think that someone who wasn't a writer by career, for you to be that upfront and honest about 98% of your life and put it out into the world, that's got to be something completely.
There's nothing left. It's up on stage.
How did you become okay with that so quickly? I mean, did you always know you had it in you, that you had that confidence to do that?
You never think of it in that way. If you did, you'd be one of those other people. You just write. And what happened is...
And she writes fast, too.
Oh, yeah, I write really fast.
No, she really does. She writes fast and she writes ego-free, which, as a performer, I find delightful.
Sure.
Because we all kind of work with not very much ego. And I think that's part of the reason why it feels fresh. You know, because she doesn't sit and calculate. Let's put it that way. It's not calculated in the way that so many writers calculate. Nope. And then they go, oh, that's a precious line, that's a precious whatever.
Well, Nancy's not perfect. Precious. Nancy and I you can't do this without a bond between your leading lady and you can't, you know. And we have developed this Laverne and Shirley type of relationship, which I don't want to talk about. But it's incredibly depressing. And what happens is, if something seems false, Nancy flags it, and it's changed instantly. And she's also fearless, and this was what makes it work. When I'm saying everything is on stage, everything is on stage.
We really mean it.
No. Things you would never believe you would ever see on stage are on stage. And because she's so corn-fed, she takes
I don't even know if I should take umbrage at corn-fed.
You can take whatever umbrage you want.
I'm from Kansas, but
okay. Her Kansasness
yes.
takes all of my, let's say, slutty parts and turns it into adorable. So we can't get it. I mean, she does think, you cannot imagine what she's doing on stage. And all people say is, isn't she adorable? Look at her. Don't you just love that Nancy Opel? Yeah, it makes no sense.
So this is an amazing dynamic that you have, because I have done some writing myself, and one of the things that I find most satisfying about theater, as opposed to just writing stories and books, is that when the words are done on the page, they're not done. Somebody else gets them they're barely started. And one of the things that I love is watching what other people do with my words. And that also, to someone who hasn't written theater before, must have been very new. I mean, were there times when you saw what she did and said, well, that wasn't really my intention?
No. First of all, I've been apprenticing to Jim for 36 years.
So you know what it's
Come
about.
on.
Yeah.
I have spent my entire life on a movie set a TV set. I did the rewrites. I could turn around a 9-hour miniseries overnight. I've done this my entire life. It's very different when your name is on it and you're writing about yourself, but there is something between us. There is. And Drew has done wonderful work, because Drew, I don't know how old Drew is. Drew looks like he's 14. I'm the same age as Drew's a composer lyricist.
Drew Brody.
Okay. Drew Brody's mother is my age. Okay. Drew is about as old as this cocktail you just made.
Okay. No, seriously, he can sort of channel 55-year-old woman better than another 55-year-old woman could.
It's very peculiar.
Really weird.
No, it's very, very, very strange.
It is a little weird. I have to admit.
Really weird.
Yeah.
And between what he did, even when we locked him up in my apartment and had him rewrite everything and wouldn't let him out and come to rehearsal, which was a little mean. But
it was a little mean, but they did it, and I'm not even kidding.
And we gave him lunch.
Okay, well,
we would bring lunch over, but we wouldn't let him out.
Okay.
Our director, who is Peter Flynn, who, when he said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want laughing. I want laughing. My show is laughing."
We went for laughing. We went for laughing, and we got some tears at the same time, which is an interesting combination, but there you have it.
But that's it. I mean, we do, it is ba-dum, 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 bum, bum, bum. That's the show. I mean, first of all, I would get bored if any scene was long. I don't even like writing by myself. I get lonely. So Peter or Drew would have to come over and sit next to me and like play video games or something with the TV on blasting while I would write, because it was lonely. And if you really do it quickly, because it's my favorite part, is you would write a scene while Peter would pee.
The whole scene?
Yes.
You do write quickly.
That's fun.
I told you.
Or he pees long, one of the two.
That's fun.
Okay.
I told you.
You see, that becomes, that's like, let's do that. Because if you don't make it into a game, then it's just boring.
Wow. So, Nancy, I have to ask you now, you're sitting next to the person that you portray on stage. You know her well. What is that like? Where do you draw the line between imitation, homage, and organic Nancy?
You know what, Anthony? I don't even know. No, it's really gotten to the place where I just go, hey, this, this is who I am now. And hilariously, we've often gotten rewrites and pages that has Nancy as the character name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's writing, and we go, Bobby, you're gonna need to change the character name.
I forget, it's hard sometimes, so I write Nancy down. Or the worst is you're in rehearsal. This is awful. You're in rehearsal, and the director will say, Bobby, do you need a plate to eat for lunch? And I'll say, Drew already made me a plate, darling. And he goes, it's in the script.
It really is.
In the script, idiot.
It's really like that. I don't think I've ever felt a kind of seamless transition like this in between, like, I feel real comfortable with this. We just sort of start and it just feels organic. And it's not my life at all. I have a poodle.
We don't talk about it. It's not.
And that's it. But it's this sort of, I would call it symbiosis, except it's something somewhat different from that, because it's not like crazy. I mean, I don't think I am Bobby, but it's just very easy to play Bobby.
And we have it with the rest of the cast. It is because everybody plays, like Laugh-In, 14 different parts.
Right.
I mean, our quick changes are pretty funny.
I have no idea what they're doing, but yes, they do those.
There's
and they come back out again, so I know they make them.
I think it's really, really funny.
Yeah.
But everyone's doing the same show, which rarely happens.
It's true.
Everybody
But we got to give kudos to our director for that. Peter Flynn was
Peter
great that
is, besides being really cute, because I am shallow and respond to that, he's a wonderful, wonderful director. And he's been incredibly patient with me and with Nancy and with Drew.
Dramaturgically steady as he goes.
I mean, but we never stop.
And that's hard, as you know.
Yeah,
that's like
hard.
The changes going in now from George Street, even though we were sold out in George Street and got really cute notices.
So that's where next thing I want to go. I want to talk a little bit about that and where our viewers can see the production next. What's the future of Curvy Widow? What's going on?
Oh, Let me see.
If you remember.
Wait. Previews start July 20th at the West Side Playhouse, which is at 43rd Street between 9th and 10th. That's right, isn't it?
Well done, my dear.
right
well
here.
done.
August 3rd is our opening night. And I only tell people to buy tickets as early as possible, because what happened in both George Street and in Asheville is that within 4 days of us opening, we ended up selling out.
Oh, we sold a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing.
And all from word of mouth. Because reviews always come in much later, and by that time we were pretty much sold. And it is, everybody was bringing their relatives. People were coming in groups. And you said we find that it hits a lot of people and is meaningful for a lot of people.
Yeah, and we had a lot of repeat customers.
People coming 2 and 3 times in a 3-week period.
And we were only in a 3-week run. You know.
And I am going to be there at least for the first couple of months at every performance, besides Nancy.
I will be too.
Yes.
Yes, I would think so.
Greeting people before and after the show, doing autographs, answering questions, and talking to everybody. And of course, anybody over 20 in a group sales gets a talk back.
Wow. Oh, okay. Well,
Frankly, I'll do a talk back for less.
I'm going to be there too for at least one performance. Then this sounds amazing. I mean, it sounds like a show that's got such universal themes. It sounds like it's uplifting. It sounds like it's hysterically funny. Having just met you, I would watch you just talk for hours. And if it's your writing played by this woman, I'm there. So it does not surprise me.
What you saw here.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed
with singing,
if you enjoyed this, come to Curvy Widow.
Wow. Okay.
I think I sing 13 of the 16 songs. I swear to you.
Goodness. Wow. What an amazing story. And so we have to now wrap up this episode with having one of you make a drink. But honestly, I could talk to the both of you forever. We didn't even get a chance to touch on your amazing career. Like I said, I'm a huge fan. I hope maybe you can come back and we can talk a little bit about more about that. But do you want to make a drink?
I'll drink. I'll make a drink.
I picked one out specifically for you called an Opel cocktail, if that's okay.
I'm happy to.
It's not spelled the same way, but it's close.
No. Do I have to come around there, or do I do it here?
Come around here.
All right. Can I stand up and go?
Yeah.
All right,
come right
then.
over here.
All right.
And I'm going to talk you through the whole thing, and I'm maybe going to set you up a little bit.
All right.
With our mixing tin with ice right here.
All right.
So this cocktail I found, again, it was in honor of your name. I thought it was wonderful that there was an Opel cocktail. So in the rail on your right, on the bottom, is a bottle of gin.
There sure is.
I have is.
How'd you know I was a gin drinker?
You are?
I sure am.
Wonderful. So all I need you to do, and again, this is always easy for musicians, you're going to turn it upside down, you're going to count to 9.
I can do it.
Go for it.
A medium count 9 or a fast 9?
Ooh, I love it. A medium count 9 would be great.
All right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I love it. And that is 1.5 ounces of gin per drink. Right next to that is a bottle of triple sec, and you're going to do a 3 count.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
That's it. And then we have some orange juice.
We do.
And you're going to pour that in.
I assume you want it all in?
No, we're just going to do about a 3 count of that also.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Perfect. Now the fun part, shaking. Have you ever shaken a drink before?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not even going to just do it then. Just go ahead. Yeah, I love it.
I was right having her do it.
You were, yes.
Ooh.
It's like you've been doing it your whole life. Have you been doing it your whole life?
Gotten a really...
Did you ever have to bartend?
Never learned.
Never?
Never learned.
Serving, nothing?
No.
Wow. Okay, great. So now you can just go ahead and take that glass off.
I could.
Yeah. So if it gets stuck, there you go. Perfect.
Okay.
And then you have a strainer right there, and just put that right on top of the tin with the spring side down. Yep, just like that. And you're going to pour it into those 3 martini glasses.
Put it back in that.
Yeah.
Of course, I could drink the whole thing then,
I'm
couldn't
sure
I?
you could.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this over, and
Yep.
I'm going to do this.
Perfect.
Does that work?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
That looks lovely, doesn't it?
Wonderful.
Ooh, this is pretty.
I know.
Look at this little Opel cocktail. We have to fix this in my backyard a little bit.
So now you have the recipe, and you have the recipe on video, so you can
I think I have a dash of bitters, am I not?
Yes, you have a dash of bitters right over there.
Well, I made a lot of this. Thank God, huh?
Perfect.
All right. So where's my
the bitters is all the way over on the right.
All right.
And just one dash of bitters straight
boom,
down.
boom,
1, 2, 3.
boom. All right.
I love it.
Fantastic.
She's good.
This looks
Of course
great.
she's good.
Give
Let's
it a
give it a
try,
try.
Bobby. I imagine you know what it tastes like, eh?
No, this is the first time I've ever had it.
I think I got a stick or something in
that's
there.
yummy.
Good. It's all fine.
All right,
It's
all right. Is it
lovely.
good?
That's just delicious.
Oh, chin chin. Here we go. What do we got?
Oh, that's a keeper.
Hey, that's a winner.
I like
lovely.
that.
That tastes
That's a good
The
drink.
Opel cocktail.
This is a great one.
This is what I like doing
Thank
the
you,
show.
Nancy.
Lovely.
Ladies, what a pleasure. I
Anthony,
can't tell
thank
you.
you.
I
So
am-
much fun. Thank you for having
Oh,
us.
thank you for coming. It has been a pleasure and an honor, and I can't wait to see the show. Is it possible for me to see it? What nights of the week is it going to run?
It runs. We're dark on Thursday night, so
Just Thursdays?
Just
Yeah.
Thursday. Otherwise, you can find us both there.
So I can come Tuesday or Wednesday.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Awesome.
We
And-
have matinees and everything.
What, and website?
Yes. CurvyWidow.com.
CurvyWidow.com.
Telecharge.
Do you have a personal website you'd like to promote, or you just want people to be looking at Curvy Widow right now?
Curvy Widow.
You got it. Nancy?
NancyOpel.com, but really,
Curvy Widow.
stop by Curvy Widow.
I don't know why anybody watching this wouldn't go buy tickets right now.
There you go.
You ladies are amazing.
And there are going to
Thank
be
you.
cocktails that are made for Curvy Widow at the bar at the West Side.
Well, you should think
There we
about serving the
go.
Opel.
You know what? This thing is great.
Cheers,
Have a little
ladies.
more. Cheers to you too, Anthony.
Thank you so much. Folks, as always, you can tune into, or you can find us on the web, BroadwayBartender.com. Recipes, links. Come back and watch us next week. Drink well, drink responsibly.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You two are wonderful. I'm going to just stay and just do the rest of the day.
Bravo! Bravo! That was fantastic.
Is it really okay?
Thank you so
It was
much.
amazing.
Hey, incredible.
Amazing.